Yes, people, what's going on? I hope we're all good. We're back with another one today, and as you've probably seen by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about the Arizer Solo 3 again, but this one is going to be the tips video. So basically, this is for somebody who's either just got the device or they want to improve using the device. I know me, myself, I'm always up for listening to a tips video from someone because there's usually a little nugget somewhere, even if I know 90% of what they've spoken about because I've been using it for ages and I've learned loads of different bits. There might be one thing within there that changes exactly how you use the device every day and allows you to get maybe a better flavor or better vapor production or some sort of way that improves your use. Now, as I say, this is for this device specifically. So if you've got another device and you haven't got one of these, there may be tips in here that will work. It's always worth trying things out and, you know, as always, just trying out different things with each device and experimenting over time, because you're always going to have a way to improve the way you use it, I believe. There's always new things to try, and it might not work for you all the time, but in certain instances when you want to get a faster extraction, you might learn a different tip that works a different way and vice versa. So I'm going to include everything I know I've learned so far in this device. Like, there might be more stuff, and feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm sure some of you will, and I'm sure there'll be amazing stuff in there because the stuff I've already learned off you guys from this device, from the ball vape, from every single device I've got, from all of you lot, not just stuff I've known already and I've watched on people's videos and stuff. There's literally just comments that I've had on videos that I've been like, yo, this is, or on a live stream, and it's completely changed the way I use certain devices. But yeah, this is specific for this one, so we're going to go straight into it. If you do enjoy the video, drop a like, hit the subscribe if you ain't already. You already know what time it is, people. Anyway, let's go for it. Let's go straight in and let's talk about this device. So you hold the middle button like that for a couple seconds, and then you press left, up, right, and basically, let me just get that into it, focusing, there we go. It turns on the device. Now, what I'm going to talk about straight away is the settings on this device, because it's not very clear. If you have got the manual and you've read it, you probably did know, but I know I forgot this for a while. So basically, when you're on there, there's on-demand and session mode, as you can see. Now, these have independently got their own settings within them. So the way that you'd access these is actually by going on to one of these settings. So first up, we'll go on to session mode. I'm not going to be going into like how long it takes to heat up and stuff like that, because that's what I did in the review video. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. But this is more just about how to improve using it. So when you select your session mode, you'll then hold right on the D-pad. That's what I like to call it. Obviously, right on the menu buttons. And oh, maybe I weren't pressing it properly there. There we go. And you'll see you've got your menu. Now, this might be backwards for you, but it says units, auto off, inversion, brightness, volume, notifications. So the units is whether you want Celsius or Fahrenheit. Now, this will only apply in your session mode because it doesn't work like that in the on-demand mode. I'll show you in a second, but we'll keep it into Celsius for now. Your auto off, I have this set to 20 minutes. That's the maximum. You can set it less than that if you want to save the battery. Yeah, you literally just scroll down and maybe go to 10 minutes, and there we go. You're going to save, you know, use half the amount of battery. Generally, I'm not sessioning it for 20 minutes or more. Inversion, now what this is basically when you're using the device and you turn it upside down. I don't think it will do it on that menu right now because of, oh yeah, it has done it. It does it there as well, you see. It turns upside down, and also the buttons will go upside down. So right now, this button, which was the down button before, is now making me go up in temperature. You press the middle and it sets it. Then you go this way, and I'm going to press the same button again, and as you'll see, it's doing the opposite. That's really cool little feature, but some people might find that annoying depending on how they're using the device. It's made especially for putting in water pipes and stuff like that. It's a really good feature for that, because when you're using it in there, you can adjust it whilst you've got it upside down. But yeah, so auto off, inversion, that basically turns that inversion setting on or off. You've got the brightness, which I've got on high. You can put it on high, medium or low. And then let me see if we can get that in better. There we go. Got quite a reflection there, haven't we? There we go, that's better. Then volume, it's on high. We can turn it down. It's probably better for the video. It's going to be quite annoying. You still probably can hear it. Notifications, all, temperature and off. So these are notifications when it gets up to temperature, when it's going to turn itself off because it's flat battery, when it's going to turn itself off because it's hit the timer, all these different things. It'll notify you with a beep, so you can turn them off overall like that. It's just notified me that I've gone back to the menu and therefore it beeped. If I turn that off, that would most likely be off. We go back into the settings again and hold right on the D-pad. Oh, am I doing that right? I think I was holding down. Yeah, I was holding down. Notifications and units. Yeah, so that's all of them settings on there anyway, so that didn't matter. We'll go back and then you hold the middle button. Oh no, in fact, I'll just show you as well quickly. If you double tap the middle button, you'll get to another menu. This is only in session mode and you can have presets. So that's 180, 200 and 220. Now, you can click on them and go down and press edit and change that preset to whatever you want. Now, 220 is the max it goes, so you'd have to be lower if you wanted to change it. I've always left it on them because they're good temps for me. I'll talk about temperatures in a minute and why I do think it does run hotter than it says anyway. So maybe if you are specifically looking for more flavour, you might want to drop that 180 a bit lower. I've seen people in comments writing that a lot of times on this device that they've done that, and I can fully understand why. But also a tip that I'm going to talk about in a minute might mean that you don't need to do that. It's one of those things. You just got to experiment and see what you like. So yeah, that's your settings for there. And if we hold the middle button and we go back and hold the middle button again, turn it back on. You have to turn it on and off. As far as I know, unless one of you can tell me, you have to turn it on and off to change from one mode to the other. We'll go to on-demand mode now. On-demand mode, you've got 5 different heat settings. We double tap the middle again, you'll see them all, but they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're just numbered like Roman numerals. I don't know why they went for that. I have no idea, but yeah, they did. So this is 180, 190, 200, 210, 220. That's literally what it is. Yeah, strange that they did that, but they did. Now, again, if you hold the right on the D-pad in this settings, you'll find a different settings mode. You've got draw time. Now, this is how long you want it to heat. So let's go for 5 seconds and I'll show you what I mean by that. The reason they use this is most likely, I use this anyway, generally on a water pipe. So you press the up button, it starts the heating cycle. It'll take however long it takes to heat up. Now we're at 220, so it might take a little bit longer to heat up to 220 here. I mean, that's still pretty quick if you ask me. There we go. And 5 seconds later, the heat has been turned off and it's now cooling down. Now, as I say, it's got a ceramic oven in there. I'm going to open it up as well because I've got the cap on top. That's probably not advisable. There's a ceramic oven inside there and that's what's getting hot in there. So it still retains some heat afterwards. It's got hot air running through it as well. It's convection and conduction, but that base really does get hot and it retains heat for quite some time. So again, like I say, double tap, you go through these settings here. You hold the right hand button and I'm holding down again. There we go. So you've got draw time. If you was to change that again, I had it on 10 seconds. Normally that's enough for me to take a few hits through a water pipe, but you can put it as long as 25 seconds if you wanted to. You then go across, you've got notifications, same thing again, but this will be saved separately for this mode. You've got volume. See, we put it on low volume before. Now this is on high volume, so we'll put it back down because it's on this mode. Brightness, same thing again. It's set independently for that mode. It's just worth saying this because a lot of people don't realise that. Inversion, it's quite annoying that it's backwards because, yeah, it's just one of them things. Inversions, exactly the same thing. You might want to prefer to have the inversion on this mode because you're normally using it for a water pipe on this mode. So you'll put it upside down, but you might not. You might prefer to have it the other way. Do you know what I mean? So, quick, let's have a little look at the last one. Auto off, 20 minutes. There we go. So now we've gone over the settings. I think that's the most part of what's actually within the device covered, what you have to change and mess around with. And I think it's just well worth having some little thing to cover that. I say little thing because, you know, we've spent a fair little bit on that, but I just think it's important because a lot of it's not self-explanatory, and it's hard to sometimes get into it, or maybe you forget and you just can't be bothered, you don't know where the manual is and you just keep using it how you're using it. So it's worth messing around with that. Now I want to say about temperature management. because, and I say that because it does have, as I said with the bottom plate, it gets very, very hot, and that can mean that it's, I think, runs slightly hotter than what it actually says it does. What I tend to do to kind of minimize this and allow to get a little bit more flavor and not, you know, go to the side of combustion, because it is very possible with this, especially if you don't pack the stem right. We'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, with the temp management, what I tend to do is, I'll show you here. You've got a couple of stems. We're just going to take one straight out of the back. This is the XL chamber. So you take the stem and you pop it inside the device. Now, another little tip, when you're putting the stems inside the device, you might find it really difficult. Turn it on and put it through a little heat cycle. Just literally let it heat up once. Oh, I'm there. I'm not pressing the right button. There we go. Put it through a heat cycle, let it just heat up once, and you'll find the stems go in and out way easier. So yeah, I put the stem inside like that. That's it all the way down. Now that is going to cause it to actually touch the ceramic plate, and the heat is going to transfer way easier with using conduction. So you can kind of minimize the conduction that's going on by just literally lifting the stem. Now play around with this. Try it lifted all the way up here if you want to. It's not going to be as sturdy though. I generally don't go any further than about there, but that's a big difference. Like, all of that is the gap between the hot plate and the flower or the stem itself. So you can just kind of play around. Rarely do I use it in this unless I'm trying to finish it right the way through to the end of the bowl. Like maybe right at the end, I'll put it to high heat and I'll push it down and I'll just finish it off. I have done that before. If I'm burning off a screen, which I'll go through in a minute, or if you're using the water pipe adapter, I'll show you, it's not going to be possible. So we get the water pipe adapter out, and with this one, it sits much lower in it. So if you're going to be using it upside down like that, it's going to be sat in the water pipe like that. So you're not going to be able to lift it out. But it doesn't really matter for the water pipe because you're getting that extra cooling anyway, and you're probably going to be going through it a lot quicker. I tend to not have as long of a session when I'm using the water pipe adapter. It'll be done in like a couple of hits max. Whereas with the maybe 3 to 4, whereas with the, you know, regular glass stem, it's a different story. It kind of takes a bit longer. So yeah, I would say that's one of the main things. Also, if you're wanting to use it for on demand, just remember that this heat is going to be continuing to reside in there because of the way that the heater works in general. So if you're having a couple hits and you wanted to put it down for 5 minutes, or the door goes, or whatever it is, just pull the stem out and just put it somewhere safely. Maybe put it in one of the silicone pieces to allow it to just sit there safely, or put it somewhere separate. Don't leave it in there, because it will just continue to go, and when you come back it'll all have been vaporized and you won't have inhaled any of it, and you can just wasted your meds. Yeah, I think that's just worth saying. I know a lot of people will know that, but also some people won't realize that getting into it, and that's just, it's not the worst thing in the world, because there's positives that come along with using conduction, such as faster extraction times. So when you do go for a water pipe compared to like the Tiny Mite 2, this is going to go through the bowl in a way less amount of hits. You're going to have really, really thorough extraction. Depending on how you pack the bowl, it needs to be packed differently to how the Tiny Mite does. I'll get into that right now actually. So this is all about airflow really. Like, all this makes a huge difference when you're actually using the device, because already the airflow is kind of like, especially on this stem, it's kind of like, I'd describe it like you're drinking a milkshake through a straw. It's not the easiest, but if you nail down getting the best of airflow that you can, along with the best temperature that you can, and you really get it right, it can just be like breathing in, and it will just continue to produce vapor as you breathe in. You don't even need to properly like chug on it like you're trying to pull a milkshake through a straw. You can just literally breathe in like that and it will work perfectly. So it's just about how you use it. So yeah, like I say, I use the XL stem generally. The main difference, I'll show you the main difference now, is the size of the chamber. But there is one extra difference, which I did mention in the other video. So as you can see, this one's the XL, this one's the regular. The big difference is the size of the chamber. The other big difference is inside the actual holes. So this is the XL, this one's the regular. There's 5 holes here. Now, I'm not too fussed about how much flour goes in. I usually, the amount of flour that you can fit inside this one is the amount that I put inside this generally. I'll half fill it. I'll show you now what I do. So I get one of these screens. Now these are like little basket screens. I've got a few here just to show you. The best way to show you. They're literally just little basket screens. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. There you go. So they're literally just rimless basket screens. You can pick them up really cheap online. You can reuse them as well. They're stainless steel, so you can, for so many uses. They're not invincible. You just drop one there. But you stick them in ISO and clean them out and dry them out again. They work perfectly well. These ones have been used a few times and they still look as good as new. But yeah, basically, I take one of these screens. The good thing about them as well, they actually fit Tiny and the Solo. They fit both of those devices. So yeah, I'll take one of these screens, I'll just kind of widen it slightly and then just literally push it down inside there. Let me just get a little poker. I'll just push it down evenly as I can, right the way to the bottom there. So I think you can see there, yeah. And then when I fill this device up, all I'll do is I'll get it and use it like a straw, put it over the top of the medicine, like that, right? And you don't need loads, just get it so that you're maybe filled to about this sort of level, and then push it down slightly. So you want it just past halfway. You need to tamp it down slightly with your little finger or something, because if not, it'll all fall out and it'll touch the ceramic plate at the bottom. I'll show you what I mean by that, because I'm very much a visual person and that's how I'd be helped anyway. So if you just like did the straw method and left the flour loose in there like you would do with the Tiny Mite, what will happen is there's no way that it's going to stop it. It'll just fall and touch this hot plate at the bottom and it'll just combust it instantly. So you're going to have to make sure you push it in and just kind of compact it a little bit, but don't worry because the conduction's in there, so, and there's plenty of airflow going to be going on because you've got the screen. And as you can see, between the screen and the 5 air holes which we've got in the XL chamber, you've also got like a gap at the top, either side, like top and all the way around. In fact, sorry, you've got like a little gap extra, which is going to give you extra airflow as well. You're going to have to change these screens every so often, or you can burn them off, and we'll go through that in a sec. But yeah, this is what I found to work the best. Like I say, you may have found other better ways. Please drop them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to learn new ways. This is just what's worked for me. As always, I have no authority on any of this. Somebody wrote that on a comment recently. What gives you authority on the matter? I've been using for this herb for over 35 years, like longer than you've been alive. Like, mate, I've never ever said I've got any authority on this. I'm just a geezer who's hitting record on his phone and chatting his experiences. Do you know what I mean? Never ever said I've got authority. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from that. So basically, I'll fill it up and it'll be just over halfway. So pretty much where the screen ends, which is just there, it'll be filled, so much past there, but nowhere near past 3/4. Like, you want to be maximum at 3/4 from the bottom to the top, so there's a decent gap. Like, pretty much all the bit that gets marked here, you don't want the flour anywhere near there, because that's where it gets really, really hot. Then what you do, put it in, as I say, lift it slightly above, start off on the lower temps. Depending on if you're using a water pipe, this is just for this stem I'm talking about. I also use the screens for the water pipes, but obviously the way that you, as I explained, you can't use this method here. But I lift it up slightly. You'll use it on like 180s, step it up slightly. You don't also have to use the presets. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I forgot to say this. Yeah, when you hop, if you want to hop between the different modes, you can also just double tap left and right, and you go, not different modes, different temps. Double tap left and right, and it goes through the settings 1 to 5. Or, as I'll show you now, on the session mode, exactly the same idea. You can hop between the different presets that you've got, rather than having to double click the button and select which one, like that. Instead, you can just double tap left and it'll go from 220, double tap left again and it'll go to 200, double tap left again, you go to 180, double tap right, same thing, you know what I mean? You can just hop between them that way, or you can press up and down and manually just change what the temperature is. That's better, isn't it? you can press up and down and manually just change what the temperature you want it to be, and then press the OK button and it'll heat or cool to that temperature. It's cooling right now because it's blue. It'll be orange if it's heating up. If you want to help it cool, you know, take a drawer on it, take the stem out, whatever it is, it'll just cool that slight bit quicker. Yeah, I always recommend heating the stem up as well if you can first. Just put it in, heat it up whilst you're sorting your flour out, then take it out, straw method, do what I've just talked about, pop it back in there. Yeah, just want to go for a light tamp. Depending how much, you can stir if you want to, but I don't tend to have to. I get really, really consistent extraction just by temp stepping using the method I've just talked about there. And at the last part of the bowl, I'll push it right the way down flat and I'll step it up to 220 and it will finish off. You can session it for a while if you want to take it just nice and slow. You can also do that, especially if you remove the contact from the conduction heat sort of thing by lifting the stem up. But if you want to go for it quickly, by all means, drop it on 180 or even lower than that. You know, experiment with lower temps as well. I think that, what's the lowest you can actually go down to? We'll have a little look. And different, there we go. $167, $157. If you hold down, it will go in 10-degree increments as well. I mean, you can literally select right the way down. 67. I'm guessing you can literally select right the way down to 0. Oh no, 50 degrees Celsius is the lowest it goes to. And like I say, you hold the up or down. Should have mentioned this earlier, and it'll do 10-degree steps. We set 100 degrees, press OK. There we go. The cool thing is as well, when you turn it off and turn it back on again and go into whichever setting it is, because it saves everything independently, it will save what temperature I was on when I last used it. So if I go into session now, it'll be on 100 degrees. It's a cool device, man. It really is. I do rate it. What else would I say for tips with it? I would say as well, out and about, if you're outside the house and you think that, you know, this is a bit too big and bulky, and you know, I mean, I don't know, it's a bit, for me, I found it, I have used it when it was the only thing I had. It's what I used, but I did find that if you use the water pipe adapter, it's much more discreet. You know what I mean? Obviously, the stem's not going to be as cooling, the vapor's not going to be as cooled. You're not going to be able to keep using it for as long, but you can get away with using it for a bit longer if you do that same trick and just lift it off there. So this glass won't get anywhere near as hot, anywhere near as quick. And you can continue to use it. Again, I would use the XL chamber. This is the smaller chamber here, but I would use the XL chamber and the same method with the screen. And yeah, that's just what I've used overall. You can probably see by the look of these stems that, let me show you here. There's the XL chamber water pipe adapter. This is the staining that's happened on it. It's kind of just, it's really difficult to get off. ISO doesn't do it. You can scratch and scrape it with metal, but I'm afraid I'll break the glass. I know there's nothing that's in there that's going to do any harm because I've cleaned it with ISO. But yeah, as I say, out of the two, there's the XL and there's the normal. You can tell which one I've used more. Again, same thing with the airflow 4 and 5 holes. Just makes a big difference for me. So you can pop that XL in there and then just lift it up slightly, and you've got a much more discreet device. Just something to kind of note and think about. Another thing that I want to mention is charging. Now, charging with this device, you do have to use a specific one. Now, you'll tell by the one I've got the black one, which is the version 1. They did make a version 2 of this device, which came out just as I bought this. I didn't realise until like a week later it come out, and I was like, damn. But to be honest, it's one of them things, you just got to trade off which one you want. This is very good. I didn't go and buy the other one because it was any, you know, that much difference. There's a couple of software differences. For example, I believe you can turn off the lock at the beginning, so you don't have to have the unlock feature at the beginning, so you can turn it on and off quicker. You know, it takes about 15 seconds to heat up. The tiny mic only takes 2-3 seconds. However, this will take even longer than 15 seconds because you've got to turn it on, go through the turning on, like unlock function, and let it say hi to you. And it's just, some people find that a bit long. I'm not too fussed, to be honest with you, but yeah, it is cool that you can turn it off. Apparently you can plug this in and update it, so there's a little tip. I don't 100% know about that, but somebody told me in the comments that you can plug it and update it. I just never have found the time to go and plug my vape in and update it. That is really cool that they added that, and I'm sure I'll do it at some point. But yeah, it's one of them things. It's what's the other option? Have it with Wi-Fi built in. I don't need Wi-Fi on my vape. It's one of them things. If it's a lot cheaper to get this one, it's really not a big difference. I do prefer the colour of the version 2 because it's green, my favourite colour. But yeah, it's one of them things, man. It's a really good device as it is. The difference as well, the main difference with the 2 and version 1 and version 2, this is both Solo 3, by the way, Arizer Solo 3 V1 and V2. So the V1 only accepts charge from a specific charger. So it's the one that comes with it. It's got the correct wattage and ampage. Other chargers will work, but basically it will only work with chargers that will work with it, if that makes sense. So if you plug in a charger that is not the right ampage or wattage, it just won't charge. It won't do anything. If you plug in one that's got the correct one, it'll turn on. You can even use it while it's plugged in, which is a cool tip. If it's flat, you can use it while it's plugged in, which is really cool. But again, it has to be the right charger, the right cable. You might find that the power brick's right, but the cable's wrong, or the vice versa. It's best to use the one that comes with it, essentially. You can use other ones. And the thing I like about this one, even though the version 2, you can use any charger, apparently it's been having issues in the version 2 with accepting charge. Even though it's accepting it, it's causing problems with the batteries or other components within there because they're kind of not amped up to have that sort of wattage or whatever it is that's going through there. I'm not a scientist. This is what I've heard from people within like Discord and even just on the channel, comments on the channel and stuff like that. So I just think it's worth noting. With the version 2, not only is it probably a little bit more expensive, although it accepts charge off anything, it can end up causing an issue and you've got to send it back to them for them to repair it. Which is great that they'll do that within warranty, but at the same time, I think I'd feel a lot safer not worrying about, is that going to damage it because it's accepting the charge? What's the wattage? With this, I plug it in. If it doesn't work, then I only find one that does work. I always, to be honest with you, just keep the original for the most part, unless I've occasionally misplaced it now and again. Again, I just then find something that works with it, and I know it's not been damaged. I've had one error come up on it. It was an error code when it was left in like a damp area. I mentioned this in the other video. If you do have an error code come up, just Google quickly what the error code is on your phone. I found out that it was to do with being in a cold, damp area. It was like a moisture detection type thing. I just left it in somewhere dry and I've never done that again, and it's been perfectly fine ever since. But yeah, just don't leave it somewhere cold. If you are going to leave it somewhere cold, maybe put it in a bag that the moisture is not going to get inside or something like that. Yeah, it's just worth noting, I just think, because you don't want to end up messing the device up through something like that. I think most people are not going to leave electronics somewhere wet necessarily, or damp, but the cold aspect, especially in the UK, it gets cold, it gets rainy, and it gets a bit of moisture in the air, and it can just cause issues with this. So I think it's just worth noting. I think that's pretty much... Oh, the other thing I was going to say is burning off. So if you're burning off, basically, using these screens, they get clogged up really quickly, right? So they get to the point where after a few bowls, the airflow gets affected. The option is to remove the screen and the airflow is massively improved, but you kind of have to stir sometimes, and you can get bits of flour coming in your mouth because those holes, as you've seen, they're quite big, quite sizable, whereas the holes in the mesh, you're not going to get any flour coming through that. So what I tend to do, either change the screen out, which I do, obviously, I change the screen out regularly, but before I do that, after a few bowls, I just literally pop it back in and whack it on the highest heat setting with nothing in it, just the screen, and you will be able to vape that screen for probably 5 to 10 minutes on high heat, like the highest heat setting. And after that, just get it into an AVB tub, whack it either side of the AVB tub, like I'll just bam, like that either side, and you'll see the little bits come out that's roasted, and it'll be much cleaner looking through it. If you need to use the included stirrer, scrape it off as well. But generally, if you've heated it for long enough and vaped it for long enough in that higher setting, it might not be for everyone to do this because some people might find it a bit harsher, but you're gonna get some serious bits of meds off that, can I say? That's all I can really say. it will do the job, trust me. I see it as a nice little bonus every now and again, every so many bowls. Yeah, it's not a bad thing for me, but I know there is other people who commented and said, you know, if you use it without screens, and I have, it is great on the airflow, it does help, but it also, there's 5 holes there, one of them can easily get blocked with flour, then 2, 3, 4 of them can easily get blocked with flour. It's a much more nuanced. I would like to say as well, whether you're using a screen or whether you're not, it just prefers a coarser grind. Generally anyway, with this, without the screen, definitely you want a coarser grind, but without the screen or with the screen, a fine grind is going to cause more issues with airflow because you're not going to be able to get the air actually going between the material. So a coarser, chunkier, fluffier grind is way better. I find that with most devices, but there is certain ones like, you know, the Volcano, I believe that is a much finer grind. I had an issue where I was using a grinder that come with the Volcano from a friend's, and I used it on my Tiny Mite and I couldn't get no airflow. And I realised that was why. It was because it was just grinding it up super fine, but that works perfect with Volcano. So yeah, it's one of them things. It's just always experiment with your grinds, people. It's worth trying out different grinds and seeing what's going to work for you and your device. Another thing worth experimenting with, especially in this device, whole nug extraction, mate. It really works well as long as you have it so that it's not nowhere near the bottom, because you'll end up just combusting or super extracting on one end of the nug. To get the most even extraction, this is a great device for it, but you need to basically either put 1 piece or 2 or 3 pieces in there. One's better, but have it so that it's big enough that it holds its own and kind of stays at the sides, you know, sticks at the side so it doesn't move about, and it's not going to drop down when you put it into the heater. So when you put it in and it's like that, you can shake it about and it's not going to fall out. 1 big piece in there, nothing that's past, again, the sort of 3/4 mark, ideally even less than that, 2/3, and then pop it in, take it slightly above and go for it on those lower heats, or step it up through the temps. Ideally, to get the best extraction out of whole nug, you better step in temps. And you're going to get some crazy flavour. Honestly, whole nug is different. If you've never tried it, try it with your devices. It works with a ball vape, it works with the Tiny Mite, it works with everything I've tried. Honestly, it works with the Mighty, everything I've tried. I've not found one so far it doesn't work with. I've found some it works better with than others, like it's easier to get complete extraction without messing with it, and I'd say this is one of those devices with a Tiny Mite. To get complete extraction from whole nug, you do kind of have to mess with them a little bit. You'll get the stirrer in and knock them around. It's just because it's 100% convection, it needs to get the airflow going through, whereas this doesn't need the airflow. As you get towards that end and you can tell that there's less vapor coming, you just step the temp up, and that conduction is doing the work for you, even if the airflow is not getting a massive amount, because of the fact that you got whole nug. And also, using whole nug, you're going to need to clean it less often because there's going to be way less sort of bits getting clogged up in the mesh and the screen and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just worth saying, man. I just think, as always, experiment, people. See what you think is going to work for you. Some people won't like to burn off the screens because they think it's too harsh, as I say, and some people will be like, whoa, I never thought of that before. I know someone mentioned that when we were on a stream recently. They were like, whoa, I'd never thought of that. That's such a good idea. And there's another time somebody else mentioned something else for using the Tiny Mite with the bubbler and the rattler at the same time, and I was like, whoa, I never thought of that. So it's just, this is what's great about this community, and all sharing all of our ideas and our little different experiences in all these different elements of devices, strains, companies, mindsets, headspaces that we get in over this medication. You know, there's a lot more videos I've got to come on this stuff, but I just wanted to get this out specifically because I just put out the unboxing, the review the other day, and I just wanted to do a tips video because I mentioned doing it on there and wanted to follow up with this tips video, and I'm then coming back with a few more, bit more of the previous style videos where I'm just going to be chatting through a few different topics that I'm desperate to speak to you guys about, because I know I spoke to a few people in the Discord about some of these topics, but when I know there's a couple hundred of us in there and there's a few thousand of us on the YouTube, yeah, I'm excited to see what you lot have got to say on some of these topics, because I'm sure there'll be little gems for us all to learn and experiences to learn from along the way. And I just love having the conversations about this type of stuff, because to be honest with you, in real life, it's difficult to, I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate this massively as well, or understand and resonate with this massively as well. In real life, it can be sometimes hard to find the right type of people to have these in-depth chats with about this type of stuff, because not everyone's interested, and that's all right, you know what I mean, that's fine. But especially because of the stigma behind it and because of many other reasons, it's not something that people tend to speak about as openly anyway. And I just think that's what's fantastic about what we're doing here, is because we know everything's legal, we know everything's medical, we know we're all above board, and that doesn't mean we can't help each other or share our experiences, do you know what I mean? So yeah, and if not, just catch a vibe together and play some Ark Raiders like we were doing last night. Big shout outs to every single one of you that's watched this channel. That, you know, even if you're one of the lurkers that you've never wrote a comment before, now's the perfect time, man. Drop a comment below. Yeah, just let me know if you're enjoying these videos, if you're not, if there's anything you want talking about specifically, you might have a question that I would think, actually, that's a good idea, because I had that question at one point, and I forget sometimes that this is something that I thought about. Using this device, for example, I hadn't used it for about a month or so, just because of getting the ball vape, the Dynav app. I've got a few different devices to try at the minute, and I'm trying to learn and get my head around and get used to, so I haven't used this one for a little bit, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start, for the last week, I've been using it most days, as well as the Dynav app and the ball vape that I'm trying to learn, and occasionally the Dynamite. There's only so many balls you have in a day, do you know what I mean? I ain't got time to be just sat medicating all the time, and I wouldn't like to do that. One, it'd cost me a fortune, and two, I wouldn't get anything done. You know, it's something to do responsibly. So yeah, basically the last week or so, I've been using this every day just to kind of get a bit more of a recent feel of it, because it's been a few weeks since I've used it, just so I could make sure that everything I wanted to speak about in this video was actually spoke about. And there is certain stuff that I was like, I forgot about that, I'm going to mention that. And yeah, I think that's the exact way that I'm sure there'll be stuff that I might have missed out or that I don't even know about. So please make sure you do share them below. Big shout outs to every single one of you, as I say. Appreciate you as always. Thank you to every single one of you for helping us get the channel where we're at now. We've got the 3K giveaway on the go, so don't forget about that. We've got the Dynav Bong X, which, honest to God, it's a serious bit of kit, man. I'm proper impressed by it. And we're giving one of them away, so make sure you head over to that video, check out the unboxing I did. I will be doing a review video and tips video at some point as well. I'm going to kind of do these, like I say, for all the devices I've got. But that Dynav, we're actually giving one of those away to one of you people, brand spanking new. So yeah, jump over, check the video out, make sure you join the giveaway. Super easy to join, and yeah, get yourself a free Dynav, man. What have you got to lose at the end of the day? Big shout out to all of you, like I say, for making it possible. We're at nearly 3.2k subs now, which I'm mind blown by. We've got loads of you jumping in the streams and vibing every single weekend, and midweek. We do them on the Wednesdays evenings as well now. So yeah, it's been what a journey so far, man. What a journey so far. I'm absolutely gassed to be sharing it with you lot. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, people. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hit the like, drop a comment below, drop a 420 if you got all the way to this point. And yeah, I appreciate you all, man. Take it easy, and I shall see you in the next one.